What's up, franchise world? Nick and Charles here to give you the lowdown on franchise lead generation. Charles, how it goes?
It's good. It's not a real hurricane, fake hurricane, and so our power's out. And then we got some scheduling wrong. So if Chris Goth is listening, we apologize, and we'll get him the link for the next conversation. But Nick, I thought this was a good time to talk about what I think is one of the most neglected areas in the whole franchise sales world. So we have franchise brokers doing a great job. We have people that are going to sell every franchise brand on paid ads. But I don't think enough people are focusing on their conversion funnels. What's the candidate journey when they make that first contact? What's those communications? And what's the best way to convert? Because you can have actually good paid media. You could be attracting the perfect candidate, but you may be losing them, either because that initial contact's not good, or because you're not making the 4 or 5 authentic follow-ups that you should be making. So where do we go with all this?
Well, I agree with you. I think part of the challenge for franchise brands is an unwillingness to take a step backwards. I mean, the amount of times that I hear, well, I spent $500 and this is how many leads I got or didn't get, ends up being like that. That ends up being the headline. I spent money and didn't get leads. But that's in a very, very simplistic funnel that is, I spend money, I get leads. And the reality is we are convincing people to invest their life savings into owning a brand. So you're talking about arguably the hardest possible thing to do or sell, a franchise, and we're oversimplifying it like we're selling a pack of gum. So you are 1,000,000,000% correct that funnel not only is much different than franchisors are giving it credit for, but it's unique to the individual. So truth be told, and Charles, I believe you're the same, I fell into franchising in 2005, so celebrating the 15th anniversary of being in franchising. And I have not bought a franchise. I am financially qualified to buy a franchise. I have the skill set to actually do pretty well, probably as a franchisee. I might challenge the franchisor too much, so maybe I'm not a good franchisee. But I'm qualified. I'm just not ready to buy because nothing has been presented to me where I'm like, I see a pathway that would create better wealth, better lifestyle, better X for me joining that brand. So, I think, it's the funnel for me ends up being a 15-year funnel that has not worked. We're the same funnel when someone's like, I'm getting laid off from my job. I can't find work that aligns with my salary. What else can I do? And where can I go where I don't feel like the man, in today's politically correct world, the person, that's another term that will be gone soon, the man. The person is beating me down. So the long-winded comment to say the equation is complex. Franchisors are trying to oversimplify it. And I promise you, I can guide any franchise brand to growth. What I can't do is tell them what they want to hear, that this is easy.
So let's grab a couple of things, because I think the most important advice, right, for any marketing and any development is the advice you just gave, or the first thing you said, which is take a step backward, right? So I would challenge every brand. I do this at our organization. We were talking about this before this video. You really do need to take that step back with your team, evaluate what you're communicating, your why, and all that messaging, and the cycle, the conversion process you're taking them through. So what I see a lot of is marketing people are going to propose marketing. They're going to propose spending dollars. Everyone, it's a feel-good, quick solution, but no one's taken that time to really do the deep dive into the brand, or questions about why you, why now, and then look at the funnel that you're communicating with. And then, so the first point I'm going to take out of your comments is take that step backwards. The second I'm going to take out of is, yeah, recognize that 9 out of 10 times we're all using this funnel that's been antiquated by 15 years and is not worthy of the life decision we're asking candidates to make, right?
Sure.
So I think those are the blocks, the building blocks. And so then you take that step backward, you evaluate your funnels, and then you have to ask yourself the question, are these communications worthy of asking someone to invest their life savings? So where does that lead us now? Like, how do we?
So for argument's sake, a brand that I don't think either of us work with. Did you hear what I said?
I hear you.
For argument's sake, okay. For argument's sake, let's take a brand that you and I don't work with. So I don't believe you work with Wingstop, right?
Correct.
Okay. So let's go through this because I think this is valuable for anybody that watches this. If we search for Wingstop, first of all, I'll make this comment. It hasn't stopped them from growing. Wingstop is one word. So whatever brand you are, if you have a complex name, make sure that you're owning the search terms for multiple terms because you got to find people have to find you. All right, so Wingstop. What we know is their sales are skyrocketing. The stock is having tremendous value. Wall Street is talking about how this brand comes out of COVID as a winner. So let's see what their why now is. So from what I see from a message standpoint, and Charles, chime in where you see gaps too. It says own a Wingstop. Why Wingstop? So from already, in order for me to get in here, the point of view has to be I have to have had a point of view before I get to this point. So most likely I'm a customer who has decided I want to own a Wing Zone. Okay, so you get to their landing page for own a Wingstop, and you got why Wingstop, success stories, franchisee support, the investment, available markets, our process, get started, and international. So I think the organization is pretty solid. Let's see what they position as their point of differentiation. We've got the goods. And, I would say that message is the same as everyone else. You got a building.
Nick, could you go to the success part? The franchisee success part?
Yeah, go backwards.
Yeah, just go backwards a second because I want to see if the why Wingstop integrates with the franchise success stories they're telling or not telling.
I mean, in my opinion, ultimately, that's where the bulk of the story should be.
Right. I mean, I have the whole page focused on those success stories, right?
I mean,
what?
Not clickable. So, but
not?
look at their brand. No, I mean, you can't learn more on Daniel Steve.
So let me ask
if you
this,
want.
Nick.
So
think about this, right? So I mean, aside, in my opinion, this just looks like standard advertising. It's not interactive. It's not that effective. How much would it have cost Wingstop to send a team out there to have a conversation, have some videos with those franchisees, and then do it with 20 other franchisees and build out some interactive, compelling stories, them with their families, the change it's created? Like, it's, to me, that's phoning in that page. Whoever did it, in my opinion, checked all the boxes. We got the franchisee success. We got, here's our differentiator. We got all the boxes checked off. but we don't have the substance in it. And so you like did 90%, or 99%, but that last 1% that tells the human story and moves people is missing.
Yeah, and then the argument would obviously be that Wingstop as a brand, okay, but we didn't need it. We sold based on the fact that we could make franchisees money, and that is a truthful thing. They simplified model, no delivery when they started. You can make a lot of money with us, and they grew in what I perceive as a concentric circle.
But Nick, why wouldn't you have a franchisee saying exactly what you just said?
1,000,000,000%. But the problem is brands want to go, 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 go. And I'll say the 1% of brands that actually get over 100 units are most likely those that have really strong financial success. So it's almost like on accident they climb simply based on the fact that their franchisees make money. And so that's fine. Put them into the 1%. Now we look at the 99%, and that's all these brands that are struggling to find their momentum to get over 100 units, which would be called that majority of franchise brands, vast majority of franchise brands are under 100 units and are considered emerging. So then those brands, because they're conditioned to sell, they're not taking a step backwards and saying, well, how am I different from the competition? How can I actually stand out? What is the leadership's vision? Like, why do you want to be a part of our team? Who's backing you? Here's our product, and here's how much you can make, because that is going to be an essential check mark in today's time. The investment, we've engineered it to be sound. There are restaurant brands that engineered super expensive build outs, and unfortunately, the amount of money I can make connected with how much it's going to cost me to open are not aligned. And those are some of the restaurant brands that are getting their butts kicked right now because they have empty dining rooms because of the worst case scenario of COVID. So anyway, the point is the why is often found in your people that have committed to the brand. They know why. They bought into it. And they may say, hey, Wingstop, I bought you because I can make a lot of money. Very possible. But majority of brands need that X factor. They need something else to get people over the hump.
Nick, if you go back to the site, so what happens? How do they capture information then?
Fair question. Get started at the bottom. So do I have a minimum of $1.2 million? 600 liquid. Let me continue. Yeah, now we're into Fran Connect.
Ah.
And boy, we need a lot of stuff here. But again, for this brand, they are their lead. So how about let's just do chicken wing franchise. Let's pick one that has emerged. And you know, if you are an emerging chicken wing brand, here, we'll do this one off of Franchise Chatter. 20 franchises of 2020. Let's find one that is somewhat emerging. KFC is not emerging. Popeyes, Chick-fil-A. Let's just scroll down. Look towards the bottom. All right, how about this one? Epic Wings. So their positioning, their point of differentiation is your neighborhood wing spot for over 30 years. As a franchise, that's not accurate because as I buy it, I won't be.
Right.
They are franchising, want an opportunity to own. We're bringing the best wings ever. That's what everybody says. Financial requirements. Okay, clearly I can get into this for less than I can Wingstop, but ultimately Wingstop's looking for 1.2 million and 600,000. So it's apples to apples, easier form-ish to fill out. It doesn't give me any purpose. Why would I want to do this? Who's the leadership behind it? What is your point of differentiation? How much does it cost to get into this? What do your franchisees think? So no offense to Epic Wings, whoever runs this site, but this is what a buyer is seeing. They don't know the why you've given them no reason. So I would imagine, and clearly they have some openings somewhere, or they've had some locations. My guess is these are 1 degree separated. These are customers who fell in love with your product because you probably have a good product and bought into it. But good luck, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 3. They have 24 locations. As I currently see Epic Wings and things, it's going to take you a while to get momentum because you haven't given me any reason to buy you or to buy you now.
And Nick, I think the big issue for me, especially we represent many emerging brands, both of us, how much money are you wasting now using Epic Wings if you use pay-per-click, portal leads, or even if you're working with a broker and a broker recommends you, and now your candidate is going to that page?
Well, you got to understand the candidate, like there's that's a part of the X factor that exists right now are the brokers. Because my belief is before you even land on this site, there has to have been some sort of engaging moment that got the user engaged, whether that's a piece of content, whether that's trying the product, whether it's their friends saying, hey, I'm a franchisee, you got to buy into this. There was an engaging moment that happened before I land on the site. And so the brokers serve as, it's almost forgiving. It's like a mulligan in golf. The brokers are there to be your mulligan because you can have a bad site. You can not have positioned your why now, but because they get in there and they start selling the candidate on, hey, Charles, dude, you've always wanted to own a wing brand. Don't you love chicken wings, Charles? And you're like, oh my God, I love chicken wings. Oh, you remember at that Super Bowl party when you ate a whole bunch of chicken wings? And you're like, yes, I remember all that. So the brokers end up getting the buyer engaged. So when they come over here, it's the mulligan. It's giving the brand a shot to win, even though they don't have that stuff in order.
Yeah, but that I guess you get a mulligan maybe a little, but I'm not sure that's effective. I mean, long term, I think you just lose with that strategy, right? And then my question is, if you're in that game, here's my biggest pet peeve. If that's my business and we're franchising and I'm building my whole future around it, presumably I'm working with some experts in terms of franchise sales and conversion. Why wouldn't we be telling that amazing story? Building that relationship and building a counterweight to Wingstop, right? At its initial stages, that it just seems like so much wasted opportunity.
Well, it's the answer is simple. 1, I don't know how to do it. 2, the partners that I have are not challenging me to do it. And that's not internal partners. That's like agency partners or legal partners or county partners. Nobody's saying, hey, insert brand, you might want to reposition the story that you're telling. So nobody's challenging them. They don't know how to do it. They're most likely, as an emerging brand, caught in the weeds. They don't have the time to do it. They definitely want franchise growth, but it's not at the priority. So that's why these things sit there. Yet in reality, it's like this is awful. Here's a pen. Franchise brands would say priority is manage my corporate locations. Let's get cash flow. Maximize my staff to impact the corporate locations. Maybe support franchisees. And then gets down here to franchise development. Like this ultimately be the bottom. And the reality is brands that grow, you flip that around. Now it's everything we do is about growing. And we grow through our franchisees. And the way that we support them is how we're going to grow. And then we make sure we have the greatest staff ever to take care of our corporate locations. So you've got to flip it upside down. But this is where we were working with Qdoba a long time ago. And I was tasked with how do we get more awareness of the franchise opportunity within our four walls? And I'm walking through a unit. I'm like, well, as a male, I would put a sign over the urinal because I do plenty of thinking while I'm peeing. So that seems like an easy place. But kidding aside, I'm like, all right, so every user is getting a cup. Why can't we say, like, imagine if you own this cup, or something that it doesn't have to be franchise. It could just be a story, or this cup was handed to you through an employee that is managed by an independently owned and operated location, franchisee. And I said this, and marketing goes, I remember this vividly, and this is years ago, so this is not the team that's at Qdoba today. They go, we would never put franchising on a cup. And I said, why? They're like, because we don't put franchising at our units. And I said, you guys won't have a job if franchising doesn't get pushed. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, ultimately, as a brand, you're going to be tasked with growing the organization. And it was an interesting moment because I saw just how much marketing wants to avoid franchising, but without franchising, marketing doesn't have a job. And truth be told, they're all out of jobs. So,
Well, and it all works together too, because if you love your product and you're proud of your product, you're proud of your franchisees, and then if that's the case, you wouldn't be embarrassed. You'd be proud to say you're looking for other like-minded franchisees.
Totally.
Nick, I think we were talking beforehand, so I guess this came about organic. I think needs to be a brewing revolution in the franchise industry. I think you phrased it very well, which is we're using 15-year franchise funnels, and I think that needs to be disrupted. And I think the smart emerging brands are going to understand that they need to tell that story. And really, I think your advice is the best for anyone who's going to listen to this. Take a step back, look at all your marketing, look at all your messaging, and ask yourself, so what, or why does this matter?
Watch this, Charles. If we just simply, because exactly what you're saying is correct, but the majority of brands, again, could listen to this and not do anything. Here's what you do: spend 15 minutes, go look at your website. If it doesn't answer why now, put that in your plan for 2021 to fix. Secondly, all the dollars that you're spending, if you're spending it on portals, you're spending it with brokers, look at it, ask the broker, what's our why now? If they can't answer it, then in 2021, put down a note that you're going to work on your positioning. And then lastly, who are your validators? There could be 1, there could be 5, there could be 50. Take your validators, and then for 2021, build content, PR, social media, just about them. Because your number one asset to selling is your franchisees. Those 3 things, you'll change your projectiles and it won't put lipstick on a pig, if you have a sound concept that makes money. If you don't have the sound concept that makes money, you got a lot more work to do. But pretend that you do. Those 3 things: websites, looking at the places that you're spending money just to make sure that message is aligned, and validation around franchisees, and you'll have growth.
I think that's great advice. And anyone who's listening, we talk about why now. We're talking to a ton of brands. If you haven't join our free Franchise Growth Mastermind community on Facebook. So just go to Facebook, look up Franchise Growth Mastermind, and then join. There's a ton of conversations on why now.
And just like Gary Vee, whenever he takes a picture with someone, goes like this. Okay, you guys put 5? I don't know. But I'm going to go like this. All right. You know why I'm going to do this?
Why?
Because 4 in golf is get the F out of the way. And that's what franchise brands need to do with themselves. See ya.